welcome to everyone, all people who are hungry and who are needy, people who are in pain. Come and join us tonight. For tonight we are here, and maybe next year, if we're lucky, we'll be in Jerusalem. Today we are enslaved in many different ways, many of them symbolic, many of them quite actual, but maybe next year we'll be free. So there are two major directives that we have to do in order for this Seder to be kosher, in order for it to actually meet the obligations that are set for us. And these are the two directives. They're really pretty simple. One is that we all need to experience this evening as if it were we who were enslaved, and it's us who were brought out of Egypt and into freedom, the land of Israel. And the second directive is that we must tell the story of our slavery of the Exodus to our children, and in a sense to ourselves, to the child within ourselves, so that slavery and the Exodus are not thought of or conceptualized as a one-time thing that happened approximately 1,200 years before the birth of Christ. But the Exodus is considered to be something that's happening in every generation, and we're obligated to look at ourselves and ask ourselves about our own enslavement, be it ambition or greed or hunger, appetite, money, whatever things that enslave us. And we think of those things as chametz, as sinfulness, as puffed up pride. And the Seder contrasts that with matzah, which is sort of the refined essence. And in the Haggadah, the book that we use tonight, the matzah symbolizes a number of things. But in opposition to chametz, it stands for goodness and for freedom. That's really, those are the two directives that we have to do. And we often begin our Seders, even although this is somewhat larger than the usual ones, but we often begin by thinking together about things that have happened in the last year since the last Seder that have changed our lives in some way or another. And so we thought we would just go around the table and begin by asking each of us to think of something important that happened in our lives in the last 12 months that would be nice to share with everyone else. So do you want to start out, Barb?
So many, you can't think of which one.
Well, the one that really stands out for me actually is that we lost Sophie, who's been here as a presence at our Seders and everything else, waiting for challah under the table every Shabbat, and just being with us through the last 12 years when a lot of other things have happened. So that's one thing that I think of that was sad, but was really very present for us.
How about you, Harriet?
I guess getting to know my 5th granddaughter.
Wow.
Now Adam has a baby.
What's her name?
Esther.
Esther, right.
She was named after my mother, who passed away in December 11th, 2015, and she was born December 13th, 2016. So they named her Esther, E-S-T-E-R, as Esther. My mother was with an H. And that's been a treat. So, what can I say?
That's that offsets Barbara's story. A door closes and a door opens. That's the way life is.
Amazing, wonderful trip, the whole family with all the grandchildren to Disney, and because Will was in a handicapped status, we got special treatment and we got to go on rides, like cut the line. And we really exploited this situation, and it was just a great
That Pandora ride.
No, it really was.
Awesome.
Really took
It was
advantage.
Really,
seriously.
Did you put dark shadows under his
No,
eyes?
it was a wheelchair. They were like good enough, you know, and it was fantastic.
Sounds
So
like
we'll
a-
rent him out to you if you want to go. Get you on that Pandora ride.
Willie, what about you?
Well, I've been feeling very grateful for all the help from Eric Demaine, Alan and Zach, Barbara and Danny, very loving family, and just feel very much supported and in an awesome family. Couldn't ask for more, and especially this one. She's been great.
What a nice thing. That's lovely.
How about
So,
you, Danny? You can
for me,
wrap up?
Elizabeth,
Yeah, so
What's your name?
for the wrap up, this year we had our 50th wedding anniversary.
Wow.
And so we had a wonderful time with the family in the middle of the summer, and hope for another 50 more.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvosav v'tzivanu l'hadlech ner shel Shabbat v'shel Yom Tov.
Amen.
We only got halfway around. We still got more to do.
I was chirping along with it, by the way.
Oh, great. Next year, Maya, you're gonna come up and join April and light the candles too, okay?
Okay.
That'll be good. So, those are my mother's, actually my grandmother's candlesticks that she gave to my mother, and my mother gave them to Barbara.
Wow.
Very old.
Did they come from like the old country?
I think so, yeah. The same with the Seder plate, which we'll look at in a little while, was Barbara's mother's Seder
Wow.
plate that came from the old country. So anyway, moving along here, let us see the lights in others the way we see the lights in these candles and honor that light. And remember that those who lit lights for us in the past and who showed our way, showed us the way to go. And think about unborn for whom we build our houses and praise the light that shines before us and through us and after us. And let us all say, Amen. So all together, Kadesh,
There's a wine cup and
So the one goes in the silver,
Okay.
People really talk a lot about these four sons. In fact, we have a beautiful painting right just on the other side of the cabin. You can't see it. It's a lithograph of the four sons done by a very famous Israeli artist. I myself, and I think many of us have come to the conclusion that we are all four sons together. We're all, the four sons represent different parts of ourselves. And I've seen many paintings where recently where the wicked son is depicted much more sympathetically than the wise son, who's depicted as a know-it-all and sort of an overly orthodox Jew with, who's overly observant. I myself have always liked the last son, the son that doesn't know even how to ask a question. And there's a legend of this very famous Hasidic Rebbe from about the late 1700s. He was named Rabbi Levi Yitzhak it's in a town called Berdichev in the Ukraine. And he had his own following who came and prayed at his synagogue with him every day, virtually. But on Passover, at his Seder, when they came to the four sons and they got to the last son, I haven't sung these normally we sing these in Hebrew, but because of today's circumstances, we're abbreviating everything. But when it came to the last son, in this small synagogue at the Seder, there would be he would sing, the group around the table would sing this in Hebrew. They would get to the last son, and it would be the turn of the Rebbe, Yitzhak Berja, to respond, and there would be a dead silence. And then out of this silence, this Rebbe, who was an elderly man, with a long white beard, would say, and I'm going to read it, he says, in Hebrew, he says, "Master of the universe, I do not know even what question to ask. I do not expect you to reveal your secrets to me. All I ask is that you show me one thing, what this moment means to me and what you demand of me. I do not ask why I suffer. I ask only this, do I suffer for your sake?" And to me, that was one of the most moving existential questions that's come out of a shtetl. This is 200 years before the Holocaust, but certainly in the times of pogroms. Here's this very learned Rebbe asking, I don't know the question to ask, but can you just tell me that the suffering that our people are going through is for your sake, for in your name, that there is meaning in what we're going through, which to me always was really poignant offering from someone who didn't know how to ask one of these questions except to ask it that way. So anyway,
He didn't give his answer, right?
well, I don't know I think we create our own answer to that question. I think we create our own answer.
April, you know why there are the templates?
Because for because the king Egyptian wouldn't let Pharaoh wouldn't let the Jews go, so God did 10 plagues. And by the way, the 10th is the worst.
It's true.
What was that last one?
It goes from
Go ahead, you're right, April. Yeah.
batter to bad.
It goes
Oh,
from
okay.
bad to worst.
The masks,
Right.
if you want to.
So each time that Moses came to Pharaoh and said, "Let my people go," the Pharaoh said, "Okay," but then he changed his mind. And to commemorate that, our cup of gladness is reduced by other people's sufferings, even if they were the Egyptians. So we're going to say together, Dom, Svardeach, Kini, Orov, Dever, Shechon, Barod, Arba, Hoshech, Makas, Bechorot. And in English, I'll read them in English. Dom is blood, and the second plague is an infestation of frogs. The third plague was a proliferation of lice and disease that the lice spread. And then the fourth plague was wild animals ran wild through the cities. The fifth plague was pestilence, sickness. The sixth plague was boils. The seventh plague was storms and disasters and hurricanes. The eighth plague was locusts. The ninth plague was a darkness that blotted out the sunlight for days. And the last plague, which April says, which is absolutely right, was the death of all the firstborns. And that's the way that Passover got its name, because God commanded the Israelites to put a little bit of lamb's blood on their doorstep, so that when the angel of death came through Egypt, killing all the firstborns, he would pass over the families of the Hebrews. And that actually is where Pesach or Passover comes from. Okay, April. One for April. This one.
This is for Maya.
This is for Maya. Where's Maya? Oh, here you are. And this one is for Lily. Where is Lily? Oh, here you are, Lily. And this one is for Jessie. And this one is for Joe. And this is for Ben. Where's Ben?
He's climbing the stairs.
Ben, where's
in the other room.
He's climbing the stairs over there.
Chudra v'hiko l'chavod, noshach l'shemra, v'yachal l'gadyad, ezabin abod, Israel zuzeh,
Haggadah,
v'yasa nura v'sorach l'chudra v'hiko l'chavod, noshach l'shemra, v'yachal l'gadyad, ezabin abod, Israel zuzeh, Haggadah. The very last one.
Wow. All right, whatever you want.
You ask why?
Let's skip the last one.
This is a Democratic Seder. Let's take a vote. Don't go, we have to drink the fourth cup of wine.
So tonight you got there. Finally.
Okay, so fill up, everyone fill up.
Hallelujah.
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 So Israel, what do they say in Jerusalem? Right?
But they said the same thing, because next year in Jerusalem will be a better Jerusalem.
I
Now ended with its history-laden rites. We journeyed from Mitzrayim on the storied Night of Nights. We bore witness, we remember our covenant to you. So we pray that you redeem us as you pledged your word to do. Finished are we all with many of the rites and rituals. Any things that we fail to do are my responsibility. And
Take the blame for
I
that.
take the blame for that. And I hope that we all can come back next year for another wonderful Seder like this one.
Hallelujah.
Yeah, I love that. So, good yontif.
Good yonder.
Very nice.
Wonderful. You know how to make a late Seder, I have to say.
Yeah.
And you really do.